Whoa! What a place to explore right after a courtroom! Well, so it is true. Arcane is taking over everything, so let's talk about what exactly is happening. The Arcane series is obviously right behind the corner, which means that the premiere is coming. It will come on November the 6th, 5:30 PM Pacific time, which is like 4 in the morning for Europeans. If you're like me and you can't figure out time zones, just head over to the official Arcane website where you have the countdown. When in doubt, just follow that. There is going to be a rebroadcast for Europeans at 11 in the morning, but let's be honest, everyone is going to watch the real premiere at 4 in the morning. All the hype is going to be there at the initial streams, and that's where we will stream as well. If you are not aware, only that day people are able to stream the first episode on Twitch. But a few chosen streamers will be able to stream episodes 2 and 3 as well. We are still in negotiation with Uncle Rito, so we may or may not be able to do that as well. But regardless, at the very least, for the very first episode, be there on Twitch. That is twitch.tv/Necrit94. We'll be there. And of course, you won't come out of this empty-handed, because there are some rewards for watching the streams live. We will be getting all kinds of Twitch drops. And there are multiple ways of getting the drops. For example, you can get it by watching the premiere itself, by watching a streamer who is watching the premiere, by signing into the official Arcane website and watching it there, or by watching one of the streamers who are allowed to watch episodes 2 and 3, and lastly, by watching the EU rebroadcast. Just make sure that after you do one of these, just log into the game and play one game. That will update the account and make sure you will get the rewards. But now you may be wondering, what will the drops give us? Well, let's have a look. We will get Arcane capsules for League of Legends, an emote for Wild Rift, an egg for TFT, an emote for Legends of Runeterra, and a Fishbones buddy for Valorant. Yes, Arcane is everywhere. But that's not it, because during Arcane, Twitch Prime has also prepared some things. For League of Legends, you get 650 RP, a 1350 RP priced skin, 5 champion shards, orange essence, 2 sets of Eternal set 1, and 30 days of XP boost. All of that is an insane value from Twitch Prime, especially just the free RP on top of that. Well played right there. When it comes to Wild Rift, there will be a new loot drop every 2 weeks for the entire year. These will include bubbles, recalls, emotes, skins and skin poses. Valorant will have 2 new gun skins, 2 new cards, 4 new sprays and 4 new emotes. And Legends of Runeterra will get your monthly prismatic loot and free cards. Yes, Arcane is absolutely everywhere, and the prime proof is the new Arcane visual novel. Don't get scared! It's actually pretty good. You see, this is not canon. Everyone knows that. And that's why you can enjoy everything that is happening there. You are not guilted into taking non-canonic actions because there are no canon actions. So once you get past the mandatory isekai joke, you get into something absolutely amazing. You have to go to the official League of Legends website to get there. This is not in client. But god damn it, it looks amazing. Now, maybe I'm old, but I really like puzzle games and I really like point-and-click adventures. These are both combined. So absolutely go there and give it a shot, you will not regret it. If you are interested in my playthrough of part 1, it is now on the 2nd channel. And here's the thing, the reason why this is so amazing is because, yes, it is not canon, and the story is essentially isekai. It is a story where the main hero is transported into another world. You know, classic anime. But the main point of the story is that all of Riot's worlds are getting connected. There are crossovers everywhere. I won't spoil anything, but be ready for some really cool surprises. Just know that right now only episode 1 is playable. This is just a prologue. Episode 2 will be available after the premiere and after worlds are done. And I'm pretty sure there is going to be way more to come. Once again, Riot, absolutely amazing job on this. One would hope we would have something like this for the Renation. Also, speaking of worlds being done and whatnot, yes, the finals of Worlds are happening right before the premiere. And 30 minutes before the premiere, there is going to be a pre-premiere pre-show. We are going to have live Arcane music, as well as performances from Imagine Dragons, Bay Miller, JID and Daniel Curry. After the premiere, Act 1 begins, which is called Progress Days. After which, on November 13th, we get Act 2, which is called Undercity Nights. And of course, around the 20th, we will get the finale. Now, remember when I said that Arcane is absolutely everywhere? It is absolutely everywhere! There were some leaks that Jinx would appear in Fortnite, but it turns out she's actually gonna be in PUBG, together with Vi, Jace, Victor and maybe more. I gotta be honest, for Fortnite it made sense, it's cartoony-ish. PUBG surprised me, but it makes sense considering the main parenting company. And also, Arcane is absolutely everywhere! It is taking over Reddit as well. The marketing team on Arcane is on steroids. Beware of what else can come. But you know, speaking of Arcane being absolutely everywhere, let's talk about what Arcane is doing in the main games we know and love. In League of Legends, we are actually getting an Arcane Event. This is arriving on November 17th, and it is combined with the preseason. This means that we will get the Chemtech and Hextech dragons, as well as a slight reskin of Summoner's Rift. There will be new Nexuses, new turrets, new minions, and we are told there will be some Easter eggs. So look for the ducks in the bushes, there is always something happening there. But on top of that, surprisingly, there will also be some Arcane music in-game, and a brand new loading screen with some tips about Arcane. Since it is the preseason, the new bounty system will be active, as well as the new items to toy with, and new runes. And finally, on November the 18th, Ultimate Spellbook is back. But we are not done by a long shot, then there is the Caitlyn visual update. This updated 15 of her skins. That's a lot of new models. And we got the new skin based on Arcane. Just like all the other Arcane champions, which we have talked about in the last Rift news. Jace will arrive on November the 8th, Vi will arrive on November the 15th, Caitlyn will arrive on the 22nd and Jinx on the 24th. And here's the absolutely brilliant catch. All of these skins are for free. You get them by completing in-game missions. This is exactly what I was asking for. Getting icons from events is fine, but getting entire skins from missions is absolutely amazing. You are getting meaningful rewards for gameplay. Even if it was just a chroma, it would be amazing. So thank you Riot for actually giving us skins. And of course, it makes sense that after the event is done, all the skins will be put on the store for 975 RP. They have to monetize it somehow. And since we started talking about the rewards, let's talk about what you actually get for watching the premiere. From the streams, you will get a ward, 2 emotes and an icon. And you get the Arcane capsules on top of that. From these, you get a permanent champion shard and a skin shard for a champion that appears in Arcane. We were told there will be ways to get more of these capsules later on. And finally, the last news when it comes to League of Legends is that the season ends in 13 days. Maybe I should start grinding. But of course, Arcane is absolutely everywhere, so in Wild Rift they have their own Arcane event. There you will get free skins for Jinx and Vi just for the daily login. Jace and Caitlyn will become playable champions in their own little event called Hextech Heist. And there will be themed guild versus guild battles around Jinx and Vi. In Legends of Runeterra, we are getting a new permanent PvE game mode called Path of the Champions. We don't have more info on it just yet, but everyone loves some PvE in Legends of Runeterra. Then, Jace was also revealed to be a new champion in Legends of Runeterra, and of course he will come with his own support cards. And lastly, we will get what they call a Mega Event Pass. I have no idea what it's gonna be. When it comes to TFT, the new Gizmos and Gadgets set will launch. A really cool new set that gives TFT a bit more of a roguelike spin. From what I've played on PBE, it's actually a really awesome set. And it will come with its own Arcane-themed little legends and chibi champions. And of course, there is the 2v2v2v2 game mode. And finally, in Valorant, there is the new free Arcane Pass. New in-game collectible items to collect. The new Jinx's Zappy gun was already teased, but because you can't really turn her minigun or a rocket launcher into a skin without actually changing the shape of the guns, I think that's gonna be the only one of Jinx's guns to be turned into a skin. However, Riot can definitely turn Caitlyn's sniper rifle into an operator or a marshal, so I wouldn't be surprised if her rifle was turned into a skin as well. If we get the minigun, I will be very much surprised. And finally, the new Agent Chamber will also take place there. He has the special new ability to summon guns from thin air. And that's really all the Arcane stuff you should be excited about around the games you know and love. And the other games as well. So now, to end this video, since this is the last time we are gonna talk before the premiere actually launches, without any spoilers whatsoever, let's talk about some of the cool things we should be paying attention to while watching Arcane. Once again, there will be no spoilers here. I will not use any footage from the trailers, and I will only use knowledge which you can find on Universe right now. No spoilers. Let's first quickly talk about the origins of these two cities, because they are quite unusual. You see, very long time ago, Piltover and Zaun were just one city called Oshrava Zaun. They were isolated from the rest, sort of as if they were their own region. And since it was a port city based around trading, they used a lot of ships to send their goods around the world. That's why in this trade city people worshipped Jaina, the spirit of wind, in hopes that she would safely guide their ships. In these ancient times, Jaina was actually known as Janarem, which is an ancient word which means guardian. And because she was so important for Oshrava Zaun, she had statues all over the city. The thing is, eventually the Shuriman Empire conquered the city and they joined the Shuriman Empire. But the Shuriman Empire was ruled by the Emperor. And in the Empire, the Emperor was the only one people should worship. And so, all the statues of Jaina in Oshrava Zaun were destroyed. So while watching Arcane, just pay attention to any rubbles around. Maybe we will find some cameos of Jaina. Anyway, a bit after that, because this was a trade city, sometimes they wanted to send their goods to the west. But they had to use ships to do that. But because there was no way to get from the eastern part of Valoran to the western part of Valoran, you had to send your ships either around the entirety of Shurima or around the entirety of the Freljord. So in order to make trading easier, the people of Oshrava Zaun had the idea to just blow up the mountain that was separating the continents. If they just blow a hole in it, they could just send their ships right through to the west. That was the plan, but they miscalculated the explosives. And during this construction of a tunnel, half of the city sank down. Tens of thousands of people died. While above, watching over the catastrophe, the other half of the city just watched. That's how Oshrava Zaun was split into Zaun and Piltover. High above, people maintained their noble status. But down below, people kept living in the catastrophic disaster. That's the main difference between Piltover and Zaun. They are cut in half by an awful history. And these days, the people of Zaun still pray to Jaina. But now they don't pray to her because of ships, but because they want some fresh air in all the pollution. So yes, Jaina may make a cameo. Anyway, let's talk about the other characters that will appear there. You don't need to know much about Caitlyn. Caitlyn comes from a family that liked to hunt, but one day her parents were kidnapped by C, she rescued them, the parents survived, and now she's on the quest to discover C. Of course, in Legends of Runeterra, it was revealed that C is Corina Veraza, who, based on the recent teasers, may be the next champion. I wouldn't be surprised if Corina Veraza appeared in Arcane as well. When it comes to Jace, the absolute majority of his story will be told in Arcane, so let's not talk about it. At this point, it would be better to go into it blind. So let's talk about the very basics. Jace comes from clan Geopara. He is really arrogant and rude because he is really clever and no one else can match his intellect. And he's using his intellect to make new tools for the working class. Yes, that includes a hammer that transforms into a mining beam. And get ready, because his later encounters with Victor are definitely not going to be PG-13. When it comes to Jinx, her entire origin story is unknown. And when it comes to Vi, we know that she was found in a ruined chem lab, in a basket large enough for two. She was then put into a crumbling orphanage called Hope House. And that's literally all you need to know. The rest will be shown in Arcane. Then there is Echo, a genius whose parents are hard-working doing manual labor. They are doing all of that to make enough money to send Echo right up to Piltover. But Echo knows that Zone has far more potential. And then some of the possible side characters. Camille comes from the Pharaoh's family. This family is known because Camille's great-great-aunt was one of the first people to explore Shurima and found the Hextech gems. Interestingly enough, in Jace's bio, it is written that it was his family that was exploring the desert looking for the gems. So it is possible that Jace may be distantly related to Camille. Although it is also possible that everyone from Piltover was just searching the deserts. Either way, in the series, we may find younger Camille, who was training to become an intelligencer, which is sort of like the main assassin of a clan. But it is possible that Camille wouldn't be present because she would be in the Odin Valley, helping her father search in Shurima. We may also find Camille's love of her life, who is called Hakim. He has a darker skin because he is from Shurima. And lastly, we may be able to see Camille's brother called Steven, or Steven. He may or may not be in a wheelchair depending on which state he is in. Next, one of the most powerful houses in the entirety of Piltover is Clan Medarda. They are the ones with the classic crimson and gold coloring. In fact, they are so powerful that Noxians once tried to infiltrate them. They sent in young artificers in hopes that Clan Medarda would invite one of them to work for them. And from there they could spy for Noxus. There are two names which we should be looking for. Tamara was the kid who was rejected and later she joined Darius and Draven, but then there is Khalid, a young artificer from Noxus who was actually invited into Clan Medarda. So if you hear Khalid, that's a future Noxian spy. Then there is Vido Violante. The reason why that name is so important because he is the original creator of the Atlas Gauntlets. He might appear around Jace. Next, when we are in Zone, if we see an enslaved Noxian general in the mines, that could be Urgot. Warwick could also appear, he would be a guy in a pub. Singed is actually an esteemed professor in Piltover by day and a psychopath in Zone by night. Blitzcrank could be in the series as an early prototype, Zack and Twitch may appear in the sumps, and lastly, Ziggs should make a cameo because he even appeared on the TFT board. And finally, to top all of this off, there is a really quick dictionary. Chem Barons are the leaders of Zone. They use Chemtech, which is a far more dangerous version of Hextech, and it is usually created by artificially creating Hextech gems. The Grey is the layer of toxic smoke separating Piltover and Zone. River Pilt is the river that goes through the two cities, that's why it is called Piltover. Progress Day is a day of the year when all the artificers, engineers and clans bring up their best inventions to show the world what they have created. Speaking of which, artificers are the engineers or tinkerers. The Howler is a Zonite name for the massive lift in the middle of the two cities. It is called the Howler because of the awful howling noise it makes all the time. Coincidentally, this is also the nickname for Warwick later on. The Howler is called the Public Hexdraulic Descender by the Piltovans. Zone is also separated into 3 different levels. The Promenade level is where the higher class of Zone is. The Entersol level is where the common citizens are. And finally, the Sump. You can imagine the Sump. And finally, the very last info I can give you is that, yes, the Hex Crystals do contain the souls of the Breaker, which is a crystallized race of ancient scorpions. If in Arcane the Hex Crystals ever sing a note, that's because the soul of the Breaker is trying to communicate with us. And yes, towards the end of the series, she can also appear there.